We've been told getting older requires a slow, inevitable physical decline. The prevailing narrative says aging is a one-way street, where the best we can hope for is to manage the symptoms of our own deterioration. But the data is shifting. By tracking cellular senescence and metabolic signaling, researchers now classify aging not as a fate, but as a biological process that can be measured, slowed, and influenced. The sheer volume of new interventions hitting clinical trials suggests a radically different future landscape. Accepting a steady loss of function is no longer a biological requirement. It is a byproduct of remaining within an outdated framework of care that treats decline as a given. Consider the traditional medical establishment. Medical training is designed for high-volume, reactive crisis management. It prepares doctors to identify illness that has already reached a clinical threshold, rather than optimizing a body that is still healthy. This approach is reinforced by a liability system that dictates standard of care. This system legally and financially incentivizes doctors to wait until a patient is measurably sick before intervening. This creates a layer of institutional friction. Even when a physician knows the new science, the system restricts them from utilizing it to optimize a patient's baseline health. This chart illustrates the distance between discovery and delivery. While longevity science accelerates, standard care lags, creating a mandatory 10-year gap. By following standard care, you unknowingly sacrifice a full decade of optimization potential lost in that gap. Relying on a traditional doctor means opting into this decade of delay. To access the science of the future today, you have to move beyond the boundaries of disease management. Crossing that 10-year gap brings us to the realm of regenerative medicine. In this space, the goal isn't just surviving the decline, but using the latest data to make health optimization immediately possible. Traditional pharmaceuticals often act as blunt instruments. They are chemicals introduced to the system to suppress specific symptoms or mask the markers of aging. Bypassing that blunt approach requires a different kind of tool, one that works with the body's internal communication system. This is where we find peptides. In this diagram, we see the structure of a peptide. Biologically, these are short chains of amino acids, consisting of only 2 to 50 links. They are essentially smaller, more agile versions of the proteins your body already uses to function. Their small size is their primary advantage. It allows them to be highly stable and easily absorbed, meaning they can deliver a precise biological message using a very small dose. To achieve true longevity, the focus must shift from chemical symptom masking to specific biological messengers. Peptides function as targeted signaling molecules. They don't force a change through chemistry. They deliver an instruction directly to your cells. This relies on specific binding affinity. The peptide chain docks into a precise cell receptor port. This triggers a cascading signal, instructing the cell to initiate natural repair cycles. Across millions of cells, this creates accelerated tissue repair, reduced inflammation, and improved cognition. This is a biological software update. It is a way to provide the body's operating system with the specific instructions it needs to repair and optimize its own biology. We have reached a point where biological decline is no longer an unsolvable problem. The science to optimize health exists in the present. However, access is restricted by the 10-year lag we discussed earlier. Your primary care physician is bound by the standards of the past and likely cannot provide guidance on these targeted therapies. If you try to bypass that system by searching on your own, you encounter a different problem, an unregulated wasteland of biased marketing and scientific noise. Having access to a biological tool means very little without a reliable way to filter and validate the information. Bypassing the medical establishment requires a specialized source of medical intelligence, one designed for those who value efficiency and direct access to data. Project Kaigenesis serves as the bridge between current peptide research and the individual, providing a clear view of the science before it reaches the standard clinic. This platform provides the tools to move outside of a reactive system and into a model of active health management. Health optimization has evolved into a challenge of information and intelligence. It requires taking control of your biological assets through validated, high-resolution data.